important. We have to know what's going on in our city, so it's important to get out and vote.
Poll worker Bill Carlson says that in his last 8 years of working the polls, slow turnout for local elections is typical.
Local elections, and it's not really busy. Federal and state elections are much better.
Okay.
You get a lot more people.
Logan says that these elections are not highly contested. There are positions where a candidate is running unopposed.
There's just not a lot of different races on it, so it hasn't had a lot of excitement for voters to come out. Hopefully that'll change for next year.
Logan says the Braselton mayoral race is one that people have been showing up for because there is no incumbent candidate running. More people are casting absentee ballots in Jackson County, but if you plan to drop it off, there's a new law in place that you should know about. All ballot boxes are now required to be inside the polling location and guarded by an officer or a poll worker. The box is then locked inside the building at the time the poll is closed. The last day for early voting is October 29th. Riley Armont, Grady Newsource.
Georgians are once again feeling pain at the gas pump, and it's because of the classic clash between supply and demand. Grady Newsource reporter Michelle Ortiz is here to tell us more.
After a year working from home, people have returned to the roads, and demand for petroleum products is soaring, while supply has remained low. AAA says gas prices are the highest they've been in the last 7 years. As of today, the average gas price in Georgia is $3.24. The rise in prices is not going unnoticed.
I spend over $50, which is ridiculous to me.
I've been driving more than usual. I just end up spending more on the gas.
To save money on gas, the U.S. Energy Department suggests avoid excess idling, carpool when convenient, and observe the speed limit. For Grady Newsource, I'm Michelle Ortiz.
If you drive through the Lexington Road and Barnett Shoals intersection in Athens, you may be wondering what all the construction is about. This project involves adding a northbound entrance ramp directly across from Barnett Shoals Road, as well as widening the Lexington Highway from 4 to 6 lanes. Athens drivers can expect the project to be completed by June 2025. Solar power is a key part of the Biden administration's plan to combat climate change. Grady Newsource reporter Nikki Schatz tells us how Oglethorpe County is investing in a solar panel farm.
Oglethorpe County is addressing climate change by investing in solar panels, which will not only combat climate change, but will raise revenue that will benefit schools.
Oglethorpe County plans on installing solar panels like these as a part of their Timberland solar project at Goose Pond.
A study found that in order to address climate change, the U.S. needs to double the solar capacity it adds every year in the early 2020s and quadruple it in the late 2020s. Commissioner Will Brown of District 4 says that one of the main benefits of this solar project for Oglethorpe County residents would be an increased tax revenue for the school and county.
They would be selling it to Georgia Power through net metering. And so basically this timber landowner got together with this solar panel company out of San Francisco, and the solar panel company is going to lease the land for 20 or 30 years. Georgia Power will pay them money over time. And, for us, the benefit is extra money for school and government.
Ashley Peterson, the Planning and Zoning Director, says that there's an increase in the county's interest in solar power infrastructure.
The more commercial entities we can have in the county, that does help decrease the tax burden on everyday property owners.
The Economic Development Authority meets tomorrow to discuss this even more. Nikki Schatz, Grady Newsource.
People living in Athens have the chance to visit the Farmers Market Friends Fall Festival on Wednesdays. Grady Newsource reporter Sam Perez tells us how this organization promotes sustainability and helps combat food insecurity.
Use reusable bags.
Nate Shear says living sustainably can seem like a daunting task, but in reality, it's a lot simpler than you might think.
So this is just in a lot of different ways to make sustainable changes in your life that are very simple, but if we all do it together, it makes a positive impact.
Shear is an intern with UGA's Office of Sustainability. He helps out with the Farmers Market Friends outside of the Miller Learning Center each Wednesday. Reese Macmillan is co-president of the organization. He helped get a grant from the Office of Sustainability last year to make fresh produce from local Athens farmers more accessible through weekly farmers markets. Now, for the second year in a row, the market is helping promote nutrition in the community.
It's not easy to get fresh, healthy produce for a lot of people, so it's a really cool way to give people the opportunity that they otherwise might not have, while also helping their health in the process. Yeah, perfect. And you can...
The money raised from purchases at the market goes to Farm RX, which is a produce prescription program that prescribes fruits and vegetables to patients with diet-related illnesses to promote healthy eating and reduce the burden of chronic disease.
Here we've got our...
You can visit the farmers market outside on the MLC lawn every Wednesday until November 17th to pick up turnips, lettuce, shop sustainably, and get your face painted. For Grady Newsource, I'm Sam Perez.
The Commerce Police Department has a buyback program to prevent the mishandling of certain medications. Grady Newsource reporter Tyler Johnson looks into how Commerce is combating drug issues in the city and how people feel about this initiative.
I think it's a good way to keep the drugs off the street because you don't have a place to turn in your old drugs.
That Commerce resident is one of many that loves the city's initiative of the Drug Dropbox to fight the misuse of drugs. The Dropbox is located in the lobby of the Commerce Police Station. The county says the drugs go to Georgia Bureau of Investigation's crime lab to be burned and disposed of. They do not take liquids, inhalers, EpiPens, or needles. The National Survey on Drug Use and Health says that 9.7 million people misuse prescription pain relievers, 4.9 million people misuse prescription stimulants, and 5.9 million people misuse prescription tranquilizers or sedatives in 2019. The survey also showed that a majority of misused prescription drugs were obtained from a family member, friends, or often from the home medicine cabinet in a survey conducted by the National Survey on Drug Use and Health. The county says that the Drug Dropbox has helped with drug misuse, especially in the city of Commerce. This is Tyler Johnson for Grady Newsource.
This weekend, Athens-Clarke County recorded its 23rd fatal motor vehicle accident crash of the year. The accident took place on October 24th near Atlanta Highway and the Epps Bridge flyover ramp. The wreck occurred when a man riding a motorcycle left the traffic lane and struck a concrete bridge guard, sending him and his motorcycle onto the eastbound shoulder of Atlanta Highway. The man passed away at the scene of the wreck. Athens police are asking anyone with information on this event to please contact them via phone. After a week of searching for a suspect who was involved in multiple armed robberies in the Athens area, police have finally arrested a suspect. Grady Newsource reporter Wyman Bailey has more on this arrest.
A 16-year-old boy has been apprehended for being suspected in a string of armed robberies that occurred on October 16th to the 17th. He was suspected of involvement in the robberies on Pope Street, MLK Parkway, and Willow Street, as well as he was suspected of another robbery that occurred on Mitchell Street on October 13th. Even though the suspect is 16 and a minor, he is being charged as an adult for all the alleged crimes. Even though the suspect is 16 and a minor, he is being charged as an adult for all the alleged crimes.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Spinacci with your Northeast Georgia weather. Going into the evening, expect temperatures to cool down throughout the night. Our low tonight is expected to be around 50 degrees. There is also a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight. You can expect those showers anytime between 8 and 9 p.m. Moving into tomorrow, it's going to be a beautiful and sunny day with a high of 70 degrees. Although the sun will be shining, be sure to bring a light jacket as wind speeds are expected to be anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. Going into tomorrow evening, we're getting closer to that fall and winter-like weather with a low of 45 degrees. As we move into the rest of the week, expect for temperature to continue to cool down at night. As we move into Wednesday and Thursday, we can expect low 70s and mid 60s for temperatures throughout the day, and in the evening, temperatures in the low 50s. On Wednesday night, expect showers around 2 a.m. that will continue into Thursday. Be sure to have an umbrella on Thursday as there is a 90% chance of rain throughout the day. Moving into the weekend, we'll see weather cooling down even more with highs in the 60s and lows in the 40s. Rain will continue Friday and Sunday with precipitation changes around 20 to 40% each day. If you've been keeping up with the moon cycle, last week we got to see the beautiful and bright full moon. On Thursday, we will get to see the third quarter of the moon before a new moon cycle begins on November 4th. And if you're wondering what our winter will look like, NOAA recently released information about how La Nina will affect your winter. Aaron Walker, an atmospheric science and geography major, says we can expect a warmer winter.
Impacts are usually with rain, snow, and temperatures. For us in the southeast, like NOAA has predicted that we will experience warmer than average temperatures this winter. But that doesn't mean that every day is going to be like warmer and drier, but on average, it will be.
These changes will start to appear moving into December. Aaron also mentions that we will most likely not see any snow this winter as a result, but we will experience rain and potential temperature increases of 2 to 4 degrees each day. That was your Grady Newsource weather. I'm Samantha Spinacci.
I'm Ballard Ackway, and this is your Grady Newsource Sports Update. For the first time in 22 years, the Atlanta Braves are heading back to the World Series. With their 4-2 victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers on Saturday night, the Braves punched their ticket to a meeting with the Houston Astros in the 2021 Fall Classic. At 88 wins, the Braves had the worst record of any team in the 2021 playoffs. However, the Braves' record of 44-22 since July 30th is the best mark in Major League Baseball. Now, in 1999, the last time the Braves were in the World Series was a long time ago, and most of the UGA student body hadn't even been born yet. So I hit the street to test the UGA students' knowledge of 1999 pop culture.
Okay, so what year were you born?
2003.
2000.
1999. 2002.
2000. When was the last time the Braves made the World Series?
1991.
96?
I have no clue.
1990.
Oh. Yeah, no, not the exact year, but it's been like, what, 30 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go 1999.
99. Who was the president at the time?
No, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Is it like Bush?
Bill Clinton.
One of the Bushes, maybe?
That was Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Yes. Famous guitarists Santana and Rob Thomas held the #1 spot on the Billboard 100. Can you name their hit song?
No.
I cannot.
Sorry, who?
No.
I cannot. I have no clue.
Smooth.
Smooth, okay.
But this movie is widely regarded as the worst Star Wars movie of all the 9 Star Wars movies. And it's a top-grossing movie in 1999. Can you name the movie?
It's one of the prequels, isn't it?
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back. I don't know. Is that when that came out?
Empire Strikes Back. Is there a rise of something?
A New Hope. The second one.
Can you guess the average price for a gallon of gas in the United States in 1999?
In the sense.
$1.15.
I'll go with that.
$2.05.
$2.50.
$3.
$1.50.
Close, $1.60. In 1999, society was scared of a potential computer glitch that would send the world into chaos. What was this phenomenon there?
Oh, was that the .com? No clue.
Y2K.
Y2K.
I got no idea.
Y2K.
Sir. As you can see, it's been a while since the Braves have reached the pinnacle of professional baseball. The city of Atlanta, however, is more than ready to root on their hometown team. Pre-sale tickets for the World Series were made available for Braves season ticket holders today at 10 o'clock a.m. Tickets range from anywhere from $560 to $800 for Game 3 on Ticketmaster. Tickets for the general public will go on sale starting tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. For Grady Newsource, I'm Ballard Ackway.
Halloween is this Sunday, and here are some of the activities you can find in Northeast Georgia this week. In Athens, there will be a trunk or treat event tomorrow from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the UGA Instructional Arena. It will have a petting zoo, bouncy house, and more. Tickets are $8. The J&J Fleet Market will be hosting a trick-or-treating event from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at their weekly market this Sunday. In Oglethorpe, people who are looking to get scared can hit up Zombie Farms this Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 10:45 p.m. And in Barrow County, Winder will host a trick-or-treat event on Friday from 5 to 7 p.m., followed by a screening of The Addams Family at Jug Tavern Park. Get out and enjoy these activities and have a spooky and safe Halloween. Get ready to grab your costumes and fix your sweet tooth on Wednesday at the Trick-or-Treat Trail in Watkinsville. Grady Newsource reporter Sam Perez has details on what the event will look like.
and lighting jack-o'-lanterns. For Oconee County Parks and Recreation's Senior Program Coordinator Daniel Cochran, it's about uniting the community. Cochran is organizing a trick-or-treat trail on Wednesday.
We're really focused on serving our community to the best of our ability and giving them the opportunity to be together, whether that's on a sport field or at an event like this.
The community can come together to put on costumes and walk the loop at Herman C. Michael Park. Cochran says over 30 local businesses will have tables set up around the track and will be passing out candy. There will also be face painting, shave ice, and pizza. DGD Farms is the event's presenting sponsor. Farm owner Jennifer Haddon says she has a personal connection with Oconee County Parks and Rec.
Our kids have been active in Oconee Parks and Rec since they were eligible to be active in Parks and Rec, so we have a long history with them.
Haddon says the opportunity to foster a connection with the county through this event is something she's looking forward to. She'll be at the park to greet visitors and provide custom-designed trick-or-treat bags. You can walk the trick-or-treat trail here at Herman C. Michael Park on Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. For Grady Newsource, I'm Sam Perez.
Halloween festivities start this Friday in Winder. Grady Newsource reporter Allison Queso has more on what people can expect.
Get ready to get spooked. Winder will host their annual trick-or-treat event, Spooktacular, this Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. The event will take place in downtown Winder along East Athens Street, North Jackson Street, and East Chandler Street. These roads will be closed at 3 p.m. to allow for safe trick-or-treating. The director of downtown development, Madison Dean, says the event is a great way for businesses to get involved and for a one-stop trick-or-treating stop.
It's just a giant trick-or-treating event. It's great for parents and families because it gives them one location to do all of their trick-or-treating. Plus, it's a great way to get people into our downtown businesses and supporting them.
Downtown businesses will set up booths outside their shops, and other vendors will set up tents alongside the streets to pass out treats. There will also be a photo booth at the downtown plaza for people to take pictures and show off their spooky costumes. There will be no official COVID-19 policies, but event coordinators encourage people to stay home if they are feeling sick and wear a mask if that makes them more comfortable. Dean offers some quick tips to families to make sure they have a great time.
We've got lots of free public parking, over 900 public parking spaces downtown, and they'll be identified with little signs in front of the parking lot. And their department downtown will also be giving out candy, so kids can go get some candy from some firefighters and see the fire trucks and all that cool stuff. So I definitely would recommend not missing out on the fire station stuff.
After trick-or-treating, people can keep the party going over at Jug Tavern Park. I'm here at Jug Tavern Park, where at 7 p.m. trick-or-treaters will be invited to walk down East Athens Road and watch the Addams Family on the newly renovated amphitheater. For Grady Newsource, I'm Allison Gasso.
Thank you for watching Grady Newsource. I'm Emma Robinson. Have a great night.
So whatever three threes, Shaylin, whatever three threes you can give us, digital. And yeah, but we'll first hand it over to the tech people who are heroes. They're really heroes. I still cannot believe it. That we pulled it off. Yeah. We don't have an engineer. Remember Neil? He left. And so usually he would be here to troubleshoot all these things. And right now we have to pull Professor Shumway from his class to come and help us. So we need to hire an engineer.
All right, hey guys. So obviously, probably the most problematic show technically today. We apologize for that, but that was honestly out of our hands from the get-go. I came in this morning and our beloved small tree was working just fine. But I don't know if y'all have noticed, but sometimes when you come in here, it's just non-existent on the computers. And I have to go in and manually reconnect to them. Well, today, after about lunchtime, they would not reconnect. And the only person here that knows how to deal with that is Professor Shumway, and he was busy teaching a class. We were able to get your content on right after our TriCaster crashed, which was not pretty either, which meant that we couldn't roll any breaks today. So technical issues everywhere. They will be remedied, I assure you. But as for the rest of y'all did really great rolling with the punches, and we really, really appreciate it. Some more specific things that I can think of. So for your pre-recorded sports and weather, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful packages. Ballard, your audio was a little bit screwy. It kind of sounded like you were just picking up everything in the room. I figured out what that was after you re-recorded it the second time. It was because someone had switched the switch on the anchor mic, so this is something to look out for, anchors, whenever you're down there. You want it switched all the way up to the top. There's like basically an off, a little flat line, and like almost like a indented line. The indented one picks up specifically your audio. The other one picks up all audio. So obviously we want it just picking up your audio, so that way it's crisp and clear, and it's just going to be what you're talking about. Other than that and everything else that happened in the show, we were just fortunate to have a show today and fortunate to publish your content, but I think we were successful in doing that. And yeah, I'm going to work with Shumway to work out all the other kinks with Small Tree, so we hopefully don't have any more bugs with the server. But yeah, really great job today, guys.
You are magicians. That's the word I would use. And thank you. You are heroes and magicians today. I don't know how you pulled this off. And how he kept fighting and trying till the last moment to think of workarounds. And somehow it all came together. The only thing we were not able to run were breaks. Our anchor was intrepid. Our producer also quickly figured out how to keep this going. We just kept going. She unfloated a lot of the longer content, the things she had, everything that we had floated was unfloated and played, and there were certain things that didn't come up in the prompter on time, and Emma handled it really well. You guys are just, I mean, you're functioning on a professional level. We have a producer who's never produced before, and she figured things out. And Emma, this is probably your second time anchoring. You did one of our mock shows, I remember. Yeah, it was like probably our second live show. Yeah, yeah. So now you had, you know, baptism by fire kind of trial. Yeah, where you, this is something you can definitely put on your reel and tell people what was going on. And so that was really impressive. The content was so good, all of you. But my favorite thing, I have to play favorites today, was Ballard's quiz. It was Kayla's idea, executed expertly by Ballard. This is the kind of innovation that is just exciting, and it's just wonderful that you tried this today when we were struggling for content. And I always say, you know, guys, I always say every challenge is an opportunity to do something differently and even better, grow in confidence that no matter what happens, you will think of certain things to just meet the challenge. And again, I think when we work with less people, when we're challenged and things fall apart, we shine. And that is just incredible. You always shine, but particularly when things fall apart. Tyler did his plan B, which was a very important story, and he pulled it off. Riley's story was wonderful. She was her usual self, giving us an interesting and important story with a nice, spirited presentation. Michelle did a quick turn on gas prices. Kayla and I came up with it when we were short on content, so we sent her to the gas stations, and she found a study and she figured it out. Sam, your weather was beautiful. She experimented introducing the weather, our weather student expert, and I think that worked out. That added a lot of the more voices you have in a show, the better off you are. So that was wonderful. Nikki did a very important sustainability story, which is very complex to tell. She struggled with it at the last moment because it was falling apart, but she managed to kind of pick it up, even with one source and one side, to make it happen. Sam P, as usual, a work of art. Allison did a great job also with spooked us out with a nice Halloween package. And so Wyman did his crime beat, added some important stories and what people should know about things that have worried our community, especially with these armed robberies. One thing I wanted to remind all of you, that a VO does not have a lead. Only packages have a lead. A VO is simple. It shouldn't be more than 30 seconds. Anchor on camera, indicate where the VO starts in the script so that we can cover the anchor with the video. Because the technical people, they're magicians, but they have to make split decisions of when to take the anchor on camera, when to start playing the video. So when they have a clear command, they know where to go. And so that's why I'm a stickler for the template format. So I took some more time to talk since we started our post-show critique early. I just couldn't help just commending each and every one of you and just being to tell you how impressed I am with you. And now I'll hand it over to our producer for your three, then to our digital producer, and to all of you, your one-ones. Let's learn from each other.
Okay, guys, thank you all so much for everything today. Literally, there would not have been a show if each and every one of you had not put in the effort that you did, so thank you to everyone. Starting off with things that we did well, communication was great as always. Everyone was keeping me updated, and everyone did a really good job at sending me their package times today, which was really helpful while I was trying to plan everything out. That turned out to not be very important because we didn't have to time the show very much, but that was still helpful, and I would say continue to do that. And then when everything is going right technically, it will be easier for the producer. Ballard, thank you so much for doing that. That was awesome. That was just like a random idea, and it turned out being probably one of my favorite parts of the show today, so thank you for doing that. Tyler and Riley, thank you guys for being so flexible and kind of figuring that out today. Tyler, your plan B ended up being really, really great. So I'm glad that we did that story. I think it was very important. Allison, again, thank you. Your stand-up at the end was really cute. You look great. I don't even know if she's in here, but, oh, yeah, thank you. Emma, fantastic job. You were rolling with the punches very well. That was a very difficult show to anchor, and you did a fantastic job. Nikki, thank you so much. I know that that story was not easy, and you were working up until the last minute to get it figured out, but I think that that was also a really important story, and the fact that we got it into the show was great. And then Sam, the little walk up you did at the camera when you were talking about getting to walk on the trail, that was just really cute. I like that a lot. Very creative. And then some things that we could work on that we did not do so well is I know that it's hard on Mondays, especially when your sources, it's over the weekend, they're not getting back to you, but having a viable story, especially if you're an MMJ, is so important. We have to have content, and we ended up being really close to not having very much good content today. So just having a story when you come to the meetings in the morning. Let's see. Audio, and I know that that was kind of not really y'all's fault for everyone who recorded live, but in the packages, audio levels are still a little bit janky in some of the packages. Naming things correctly when you put them into WeTransfer is so important, because especially in a situation like today, they were scrambling trying to find everything, and they didn't know what videos and what graphics went with which stories. So it's just really important to name things like they're named in the rundown. And I think that's it. But yeah, everyone did so well today, and I'm really proud of us for working through that and getting it figured out. So great job, everyone.
And great job too. What you did, Kayla, was quite extraordinary. Yeah, and that all great points. And I'd like to reiterate the last point she made, to name your B-roll or your package with the same keywords as they are in the rundown, which made it much easier, like because Jackson County was Jackson County in the rundown, and you'd named your video, it was easy for them scrambling to match it with, with your script. So that's why it's really important to keep it simple and matched. These are templates and things like that. They really matter and keep our shows clean and flowing. So these are important things. Would like to see how we did digitally. Shaylin?
Yeah, so everyone did a good job at sending me all of the relevant information that I asked for. It definitely was really helpful. I asked a couple of people just for like their scripts or like important information that went along with with the visuals that I was getting, so that I had like the context that I needed, since I'm not the one putting together the stories. The only thing would be kind of just that, and there's nothing we can really do about this, but it's kind of not too much going on at all in the morning, and then I'm getting everyone's stuff all at once they're finished with the broadcast stuff. So not across the board. You don't need to do this every time, but if you ever know that you have the time to send in stuff while you're working on other things, that would be helpful for digital producers, just to be able to have posts going throughout the day instead of it all hitting at like 2 or 3 o'clock. Yeah, I don't really have too many other negative things to say. I'm really excited to put Ballard's Q&A on social media. I think that that's going to do really, really well. I know that he's editing it differently for social. So yeah. Is there the only thing I could really think of to do better is just send things earlier in the day. Yeah, I don't know.
About the way they are posted, are you the one writing the leads? And okay. Yeah. Okay.
I guess maybe one thing would just be everyone, I think we do a pretty good job of this already, but everyone, once you see your stuff and see everyone else's stuff, if you guys want to engage with them on social media to help with our analytics, I know that is kind of self-fulfilling, but we could do that too.
We can't do that. We have to just post it and leave it for our audience. We cannot.
We can share our own stories.
Yes, you can share them, but do not. I didn't quite understand where you were going with this.
Yeah, just like
Whether to say, "Hey, you did a great job," and ask all your friends to say you did a great job. Not that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, no endorsements, kind of forced endorsements. And what do you mean? What do you mean by interact?
Like if your stories on Twitter or your friend's stories on Twitter, retweet it or the post.
Like your own post.
Well, like Grady Newsource's post.
If you're the author of it, of the package or something, I wouldn't like my own thing. Okay. I just think it's professional not to let other people like it, of course. But that's the only tweak I would make to your great recommendation. Yes, you can retweet, of course, but liking your own stuff goes a little bit too far, I think. That is. I'm still a little speechless about how I'm still in disbelief that we pulled this off, but obviously we did. So I want to give you a chance to share your 1-1.
Yeah. One thing I think was just coming to class today really prepared. I know it's not always the case with certain times there's breaking news in the morning and you would want to report on that in your Grady Daily, but I wrote mine yesterday. So I had it approved early this morning and I was the first one here. So I had the whole place to myself to film my Grady Daily, which was really nice. And then Kayla came by and helped me a little bit. So that's one thing I did good. One thing I could work on, I guess, is just, what I wasn't prepared with was dealing with the Grady Daily graphics, which I know a few of us have had bad experiences with. So after I had filmed that, it kind of took me a hot minute to get my Grady Daily together. I think I finished editing it and exported at like 2:30. So I guess just working quicker and being more familiar with how to get those graphics and stuff into Premiere, which can be complicated, but I did it. So, yeah.
And you did a great job all around with everything. Even your topics were awesome. I just had to nitpick. Of course, I had to find something which was like less formal. This is what my next goal with you guys are. You will hear from me asking you to say this in your own words. How would you explain this to your mom or to your friend? And once you get into that frame of mind, step away from he stated that, or the elections. He stated that the elections will conclude on, the early elections will conclude this Friday. How would you say, I challenged her, I said, so would you actually tell your mom, the elections will he stated that the elections will conclude, and I have to watch your Grady Daily to see. But basically, I was pushing her. I mean, she had written something very clean, tight. Each of her headlines was just like a short, sharp, 3-sentence thing, which was wonderful. But it had these formal words, which we don't use on social media and broadcast. Yes, they're AP style, and they belong on a different platform. And so you will hear a lot from me, trying to free you up to, I don't want you to use slang on air, but and I did that with Riley as well, and she responded. I did it with as many of you as I could today, even with Nikki, who was like almost, shaking because she didn't know if she would meet her deadline, but, I just wanted to challenge all of you to think and free you to be more conversational. Because then you will let go, then your performance will be different, and you will be more genuine and connect more with the viewers. There are two, it was an Emma's and Wyman's script, which were crime scripts with suspects. I want to remind you again, guys, that a person is innocent until proven guilty. And so I had to correct and kind of explain to you guys why I asked you to, if you're talking about crimes, they're alleged crimes. The person has not committed. He was arrested for the crimes he committed, or he was You have to stay away from that because we discussed the Richard Jewell case. Remember when we were training, and our guiding principles will guide you into this. There was the name of the suspect in one of the scripts, 16-year-old minor. We don't name suspects anyway, let alone a 16-year-old minor who may be innocent. You will destroy the rest of his life if, this comes out, Or at least if the other media will be publishing this, we don't. Do no harm. So these are really important things for you to remember, that a suspect is accused of alleged crimes, right? Accused, you're accused. One more thing that I was impressed with Tyler when he was writing about the Ahmaud Arbery case, he called it a killing instead of a murder. Do you guys know the difference when you use killing instead of murder? Tyler, well, I guess we have only one. But basically, if somebody is convicted, if the case has been already resolved and a judge has convicted someone, that's when we can call that a murder. But before that happens, while it's still in a trial, then we talk about the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. And he had it, correctly. So that impressed me. But be very careful. And I, of course, will be helping you along the way. But these are 3 things if you can just remember. Suspects, alleged crimes, and a killing until somebody is convicted and the trial ends. Then it could be called a murder trial. And that is, again, they're different media depending on where you work. Maybe they have different ideas of how they handle the killing versus murder thing. But what I was taught in my career was that kind of a distinction. And even Wyman, I think you asked me, or it was Emma, she said, well, in the police report, they say this. And I said, well, the police report can say this, but we have our own principles and style of handling such things. Yes, the police report had the 16-year-old's name. That is their job. That's their job, to really give us as much information. But our job is to distill that information that we're given, that we have the privilege of being given by authorities, and then decide how we're going to present it to the public. So these are important distinctions that we need to have in mind. I want to pass on the mic for your one-on-ones. There's 15 minutes. One, what you did, you want to work on, and just pass the mic.
Okay. One thing I did well with was having multiple stories instead of just having like 1 or 2. I had actually 3. And then one thing I also want to work on is remembering to include the sources, because I, for some reason, always forget, and you always have to remind me. Exactly. So I really want to remember to do that now. Oh yeah, I said what I did. Yeah.
Okay, I would say one thing I did good was really focusing, I guess, today on like my script and then translating it well into my package. And then the one thing I would work on was getting even more B-roll, I would say. I wasn't allowed to film inside, and that really kind of like, I feel like it didn't hurt my package, but it would have made it better if I was able to film inside the place and get some people like walking and stuff. So even more B-roll, because there were a couple of polling places that I could have gone to and gotten more B-roll from.
One thing I did well was start researching last night, so I already had an idea of what I was going to talk about today in the weather. Something that I think I could work on, I think my delivery was okay, but I think it could have been a little bit better, and I wish my graphics were a little bit better. I wanted them to be more interactive, but at the last minute, I kind of just had to make them plain, and so it wasn't able to have like a lot of movement. But I definitely want to work on my delivery a little bit more and my graphics for weather.
Um, so I did a quick turn on gas prices today, and I think one thing I did well was not giving up on sources. I hit multiple walls as I was trying to get sources, and I finally just did man on the streets. And um, even then, people were apprehensive to be on camera, which is expected. But I was lucky to meet two very kind people that were willing to be on camera, and I'm proud of myself for not giving up. And um, people were apprehensive. I was able to not take it personally. So I'm proud of myself for that. And one thing I could do better is that the reason I had to do this quick turn was that my sources were not getting back to me in time. So just being more prepared in that sense and having ready alternatives for other stories.
One thing I thought I did well for the Q&A on the man on the street was not really being hesitant and asking people to come do it, even though, as Michelle said, people are very apprehensive to get on camera. So I think just kind of getting over that fear to ask people. And then thank you to Kayla for that idea, because I was just going to ask people if they were excited for the World Series. And as soon as he said that, I was like, that's 100 times better than what I had planned. And thank you to Shaylin for kind of seeing me out there and helping me out with the camera and with the tripod. I really appreciate that. I probably couldn't have done it as well without her. One thing we could do better was get a microphone from the tech room instead of just having the one on top of the camera. The audio would have been a lot better. And then also, I don't know what to do with my hands when I anchor, and it always looks really awkward. So I'm definitely working on hand placement next time I anchor. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Sometimes I'm scared to look away from the prompter and forget where I am. But yeah, probably just hand placement so it doesn't look as awkward. So.
Yeah, from time to time, just one hand could point very briefly. And if you have time to practice a little bit, if you're not crashing, that'll give you more confidence so that you can actually let go of the prompter, the lock into the, plus you're recording, so you don't have to worry. You've got 3 tries, right? So you can always go back or edit, even if you screw up, pardon my language, you can always continue, right? And then edit that out, right? It's recorded, it's not live, right? So try to let go a little bit more and be more interactive with the smart screen and smart board. And also, from time to time, I do that too much, so don't do as much as me. Point out, yes, and then, your hands are by your side. From time to time, you can clasp them, but try not to clasp them too often, because that kind of is not a good message, subliminal message to the viewer that I'm kind of scared and closed off kind of thing. But you could do it from time to time. We saw with Shaylin, it worked. I think it was Shaylin who I showed you. She had clasp, unclasp, looking back there, just by your side, just kind of vary things, but whatever comes natural. Don't be too self-conscious about it. But you have the freedom to edit it, right? That would be my recommendation. But very well done. Did you come up with the questions to ask them?
Kayla came up with a couple of Bill Clinton questions and number one songs that I kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
I just think it's along those lines.
Yeah. So excellent teamwork here, the 3 of you. Yeah.
Stuff like that, and then he was the one that went and came up with the questions. But I just thought that was great. I really liked that segment.
And it's we can't have fun very often, but this is such a huge story, and it's sports, and people are happy about this incredible achievement. So these are moments in which you can look beyond and do something creative and something fun. So those are things that you can always have in the back of your mind, because you see how how well it works. It could be put on social, could be put on your portfolios. So these are great things that to kind of have in mind, that sometimes you can have fun at certain moments, or even with serious stories, you can find ways to be creative and to do things a little bit differently, try out different things. So, yeah.
One thing I think I did well today was for my little stand-up portion, actually showing where I was and why that was relevant to the story. Because I usually, stand-ups don't really, I'll be at the location but not really reference it. So I'm proud that I did that this time. And moving forward, what I can work on is making sure that I 100% do have that secondary source before the day comes, because without that, things can just spiral out of control really quickly. So making sure, like, days in advance that that person is willing to talk. So
So I had 2 packages that ran today because my one on Wednesday didn't run. So I would say for that one, I think I had good B-roll, so I was happy with that. And then for my one today, I was inspired by last show's Turn Out the Lights lead. I thought that was awesome, that call to action. So I really tried to like emulate that, and I liked my lead for today. And then for things that I could have done better, I ran into this problem before when I did an event preview, but it's really hard to get good B-roll for stories or events that haven't happened yet. And then in the case of the one that I did today for the Trick or Treat Trail, it's the first time they've ever had the event, so there was no like archival footage. So that was kind of tough. And then for my other story on the farmer's market, I did not adjust the white balance correctly, and so a lot of the footage was blue. So I did my best to edit that in like post-production, but it didn't really work that well. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
I think I really liked my stand-up today. No, the ones I've done before, like, I didn't like them at all. So this one I thought like looked good and was framed well. And I like Nikki said, I said where I was and like why that was important. Like it was actually relevant to be there. And then things to do better. I think just working faster overall. It's still like kind of taking me a while to like edit everything. So just getting faster at that.
Thank you, guys. All of you should really feel especially good on this, on this day. And let's work again on less formal language. Try to, basically, what I used to do always is just read things out aloud. That's when you realize how stiff your language is, really. And so that's one way to do it. Also practice, try to ad-lib as much as possible, especially when you're on the smartboard. Practice, keep it simple like we talked this morning. Keep it simple, like 3 main things you want to say if you're doing a live shot, if you're doing a smartboard live. Keep it simple, 1 graphic, 1 thing you want to explain, and really explain it to the viewer. Don't assume that just because you're talking to them and telling them something, they're actually understanding how it relates to your visual. So these would be my recommendations. Very well done, all of you. Looking forward to some more politics on Wednesday. And don't forget the Georgia Special Assembly. If someone wants to volunteer, if you're interested in politics, that is a great story for you to do a preview. Let's say not this Wednesday, but next when it starts. This is what you can expect today. This is the big news. Special Assembly, redistricting, very important. Get a political scientist to explain why it's so important and what is the local angle here in Northeast Georgia. And then keep following it as you follow other stories and report when they make a decision that's relevant to us. So think about that as well. And so now we know, as our producer told us and you yourself told me and everybody else, preparation matters. And the more prepared you are, the better off you are. and the less you'll have to stress and the better your packages will be, because you have more time. And of course, we'll turn you around to a quick turn if we need to, but at least we know, as Kayla was saying, we have content, we have things that we can rely on. But all in all, you guys really impressed me yet again. I'm very proud of each and every one of you, and I'm really happy that I have such talented students. Thank you for everything you did, all your creativity, all your hard work. And let's do even better on Wednesday. You know, I have no shame. Let's do better. So, thank you guys. Well done.